Hey guys, how you doing? Jim Sheils here of Southern Impression Homes, and I know everyone knows Brett well at the White Coat community. Brett came down to Florida. He's been here a few times. I think he was at the DLP event last night, and that's how we met the White Coat community, and Jim and Brett. And we came out to look at some properties. A number of White Coat community people have bought properties here in our Palm Coast market. So Brett and I were going to walk you through a duplex model just to see what we're doing and how we do it. So one of the things, Brett, you got anything to add about just being here?
Yeah, sure. Well, part of what I was excited to see here was I want to get a feel for the neighborhood, the type of neighborhood this is in. And one of the things I like most about, especially what's happening here, is these are infill lots. And so you've got a lot of people who've been here potentially a long time, but are single-family homeowners. And these are duplexes in those neighborhoods, which is something I really like. I mean, it's much more inviting to a potential renter.
Yeah, well, and if you look, like you had said when you commented, we'll spin around. This is a corner lot, so the duplex here is on a corner lot. And then as we spin around, the only thing we can see from here is single-family homes. So this is on a little cul-de-sac road, and it's all single-family homes, which, you know...
It's a wonderful feel. Let's walk out to the corner and kind of see the... So again, we're on a corner lot that... kind of tucked back into a great little subdivision. But as you can see, the type of homes that are here, even from the vehicles and the driveways to, and we've got a Mercedes over here and a new Tundra down there, and the type of homes that are here, these are very nice homes and great renters. But then we tucked in.
Yeah, like over here. Well, the one thing I told you, two things I liked about Palm Coast is we were able to buy a lot of infill lots in these neighborhoods here, and the percentage of homeowners to renters was actually higher. So there's a high percentage of homeownership in here, but still the ability to rent. And like we were talking about with the duplex model, some people can't afford to live in a single-family home, but now they get to live in a single-family home neighborhood for $500 or $600 less per month, which is a big great difference in being able to do it.
And it's still with all of the benefits of that single-family home neighborhood.
Exactly.
The kids, the neighbors, the yard, the feel of, we'll look at here in a minute, the feel of this duplex we just walked through is everything that a home has. I mean, It feels great, and there's just happens to be one shared wall with someone else. So.
Exactly. Yeah, big difference from an apartment building. They want this yard, be able to, as you said, well, even if they're living in the duplex, they're coming out and playing with all the kids in the single-family homes. It's a very nice community feel, and we're trying to fill that affordability crisis we talk about, workforce housing. These are one of the best ways I know we've been able to do it.
Absolutely, I love it. This is great.
And right now we're Friday, a little before lunchtime. But one of the things I always say to Brett, my rule is if I can't walk in neighborhood at 9 o'clock on a Friday night, I don't want to build a property there. I've just learned in 25 years we like safe workforce housing neighborhoods, and if it's high crime or something, it's just not worth us building there. So anyway, what we're going to do right now is we'll go in, Brett, and look at the model. And again, Brett was a builder. He built custom homes for years, still involved. So he's even much more particular than me, but let's see what he has to say about what we're doing.
Love to. And one of the things I like here as we've walked through is it's really two different things. One is the perspective on this being a build-to-rent home. So from a landlord perspective, and as I own my own personal rental properties, it's important to build something that requires little future maintenance.
Yeah.
But the second thing is just the quality and the feel for the homeowners. You've got a covered porch as you come in, which
there we go.
Makes it comfortable and inviting.
I'll probably flip us around here to look at that.
And really a great layout. I mean, this gym you said is we look at a three bedroom model, but it's got a nice feel. The bedrooms are big enough to be comfortable.
Yep. So we got the front two here coming in, bigger closet space, which the older houses didn't have. There's the front room, second bedroom. Coming here, get a larger closet.
But it's big enough you could have a queen bed in each of these bedrooms and have it be comfortable, which is great.
Yeah. So and down here, I know you were commenting because of our mistakes with past rentals, the floors that we have in here, you won't see any carpet in any of our stuff because of the maintenance needs and that. So the vinyl plank flooring gives extra protection, it's good looking, durable.
And it's awesome. I mean, it's long lasting. It's and really very pretty. I mean, it's a great feel. I love
well, as you see, we work with investors. I know you said this, but we kind of give more of a retail look. So as a builder, you were always used to doing upgrades. So we always try to give automatic upgrades, like no carpet, vinyl plank flooring. As you said, not the old butcher block, countertops, which don't last well, don't really give a good look, so it can deter people from wanting to rent or buy. And even the appliances, we could use the white, cheaper appliances or go stainless steel. We try to give that upgrade that most people would have to pay a builder for. We just give them to try to get that better rentability and resellability down the road. So.
But and this comes back to my building experience in the past, but just noticing some of the products here and the way that this is built though. And these countertops, this is a quartz countertop. Mm-hmm. The beauty of quartz, unlike granite or other countertops, is it's not porous. So it's very, very difficult to stain. It's very, very difficult to hurt. But this is a long-term countertop.
Yeah.
Other little details, I noticed there's no garbage disposal here.
No.
As a landlord, garbage disposals are a nightmare because no one understands that you can clear your own garbage disposal underneath, and so it's service calls, but there isn't one. The faucet, instead of being off-brand, this is a Moen faucet, which in my own home, I've had lots of Moen faucets because they last so long and they have a long warranty. Yeah. But the level of all is a high quality level, but also a level that provides very minimal maintenance. And so that's what impresses me from a builder's perspective is I can put someone in here and not worry much about service calls.
Yeah. And that was our goal. I remember when the first time you did a tour with us, probably like 3 years ago now, was our building arm has to answer to our property management arm. So we don't want to inherit issues. So believe me, in the first, when we started this 10 years ago, we fine-tuned the model to make sure we have less service calls, we have longer tenancy. So to do these types of things, like as you have that attention to detail, the Moen faucets or the higher-end countertops, that's because before that could actually create the stuff we don't want. And the PM is the first one to nudge the buildings team to say, you need to do nicer this, you need to do nicer that. So 10 years in, we feel like we're finally getting the model, I'm not gonna say perfected, but definitely fine-tuned.
Well, it's awesome where it's all under one roof to have that feedback loop, absolutely, and to be able to make those changes.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the other interesting things that Jim and I have spoken about today quite a bit is just the financing ability here, in that through what Southern Impressions Home has done and their ability to buy basically lots of financing, you get lots of lender money together, is you get some pretty amazing rates. Which, as we're looking at the cash flow on these properties, I think really the financing rates you guys have right now are part of what makes this work so well. When
you're able to finance, a $500,000 duplex for 3.75 opposed to 6.75, that's a difference of $700 cash flow or a negative $150 a month, really. Yeah. And so that's one of the biggest things. We got to build it right for you. We also got to finance it right. And being able to do I know I've talked on the podcast with Jim about our Builder Forward Commitment Program. That allows us to buy down the rate for you, buy large amounts of mortgage money and pass it along to the Whitecoat community and investors. Again, you say, well, our banks aren't asking for that. Well, we have to buy money in large tranches and pay quite a bit for it, but we want to pass the savings along to do volume with our clients, and it's been a good model so far.
Well, that's certainly what makes it possible. And I think you'd even mentioned there's even options within that. If someone's looking for a 30-year fixed mortgage, or a 10-year ARM, we've got great rates and possibilities within that.
Absolutely. So
which is wonderful.
Yeah. Well, we'll look too, guys. Again, this is a duplex, but one thing that, again, these newer constructions, they're very open floor plans. So if you look where I'm at when we spin around, the kitchen in this is a very open floor plan. The second bath right here behind Brett for that main living area. But having this open floor plan really does give it a bigger feel for the property. And that was kind of our goal. Some of the most of you know that I used to rehab old properties. That's what I did thousands of those. But they had a lot of walls. You know, the new construction really is more of an open floor plan. You know, and Brett's a tall guy, as you guys all know, and still a higher ceiling, which gives it, although the square footage feels artificially bigger. People like to live there because the older houses, I mean, the ceilings would have been 1.5 feet lower, at least sometimes 2 feet. You feel, you know, pretty boxed in. But again, trying to make it with tile throughout, the nicer countertops, again, for look and durability. That's getting things rented quicker and for higher amounts. So last thing, I know Brett and I were in here just before, is the master. The master bedroom here, I don't know if this means anything to you guys, but we'll do the corner here. This has the ability to fit what's called a California king bed. I don't know if you have those in Utah, Brett.
Yeah, big thing here, sure.
Is people like super big beds, and when I was rehabbing old homes, I can't tell you how many times we couldn't get it rented for a longer period of time because the tenants said, oh, my California king bed won't fit in here. These are the little things you learn. So when we started to design our plans, my partner and I was kind of a joke saying, can the master fit a California king? And yes, it can. So that opens up. It sounds silly, but man, does it work. We'll look at this last bathroom real quick. Like I was showing to Brett, when we first started doing this, you know, we weren't doing dual sinks, but we found that in tenant surveys, in, you know, resaleability, little things like that go a long way.
Well, and again, it's the quartz countertops, and in here, the tile upgrade, which is a standard for Southern Impression homes, correct?
Yeah. What Brett's talking about is you could do what's called shower kits. It's more of like a hard plastic that you just lay into the shower. It gets the job done, but the durability and the aesthetics are not very nice. And again, we want to get you the best rent, but we also want to get the resaleability to be high. So if, let's say in 7 years, the market's gone up, if you have a 70-year-old duplex with these types of upgrades in a nice single-family home neighborhood, we know from experience you'll be able to sell this to another investor or to possibly a first-time home buyer that wants to live in one side and rent the other, and they're normally willing to pay top dollar because of the financing they can get on it. So that's another opportunity. I think last thing, should we just go in the backyard?
Yeah.
You were commenting on that. We'll look at the backyard. Already passed the door, man. Yeah. So again, sorry guys, Brett's about 1 foot taller than me, so we're keeping me in here.
This will work. Your head and my head, one of the two.
So one of the things that I like the most about the duplex model in a single family home neighborhood, again, you got to think of the tenant mentality. They want their kids to have a safe neighborhood where they can play. If you're in an apartment building, you don't get that. But here with the duplex model, it's just above the price of an apartment unit, but they're in a single family home neighborhood. They have their own yard. I mean, they're on a corner lot. And again, when you look out, what do you see behind us? It's only nice single family homes with a lot of pride of ownership.
Well, there's a lot of attached yards too. I would imagine kids, and I would expect in the evenings, there's, this is the type of home you're looking for.
Lots of play.
Lots of play.
Yeah, lots of play. So again, corner lot on this one, 3-bedroom, 2-bath units. It knocks down what they would have to pay on a single family home rental, by $600, which makes a huge difference in budget to be able to be here instead of an apartment building, their own yard. And again, new is pretty attractive, especially the way that we do it up. I won't go into the AC work, but again, this is just what we try to do, plant not only good single family homes, but duplexes in nice areas like this. Again, like I told Brett, where I'm going to take him for lunch, about 7 miles that way is where I got engaged to my wife at a beautiful beach resort. So Palm Coast kind of has that higher end of living, but also solid workforce neighborhoods like this that are safe and are high demand because the area is still growing.
We've talked a lot about today about the house and about how great it would be for a family, but as a landlord, as someone who's buying one of these, that's critical.
Absolutely.
It's critical because that's how you keep people here long term.
Yeah.
And that's where success comes when promoting rental properties.
Yeah, well, and I know you know this. My old construction houses, when I would fix up an old house, my tenancy average was about 13 months. Now with the new construction model, we're over 3 years with people staying. And you know how important those first few years, especially to get momentum in your rental and the market conditions. So that's one of the things I'm most excited about. So for, our job is to buy back your time and have a portfolio growing for you with, our goal is 1 to 2 hours a month. We couldn't do that with old houses in questionable neighborhoods. So we try to go to nicer neighborhoods, do only new construction with these types of upgrades, and get the tenant to not only pay well, but stay for a long time.
And one other thing I would mention just about the model here with Southern Impression Homes is this is something where as an investor, I would buy the home. I would purchase the home, I own the home, I have title to the home, and then Southern Impressions takes care of everything else. So they help me with financing, they help me with insurance, they help me with the purchase, but then I can step away and their property management arm actually takes care of
Everything.
And so that's the beauty. It's kind of a hybrid where instead of just investing your money in an unknown entity, you own the home, you have title to this home, but then they take care of everything. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you bringing us on. A lot of you know I was brought in with Brett, like I said, my friend Don Warner, who's a neighbor, said, look, we've got a great fund, and DLP, I've worked with them, they've worked with us. But Don had recommended us to Jim and Brett years ago saying, hey, if people want to own their own properties, and I recommend you're in fund syndications and own your own property, we got the tap on the shoulder, and we had to first prove it to Brett, Mr. Custom Builder here, who came down a few years ago. But again, yeah, I appreciate the distinction. You're not going into a fund or syndication with us. We build your own personal rental portfolio. You own the homes. We're here to serve you, and it ultimately is your decisions, and we guide you with that. But you'll own your own rental properties, which I know is important to Jim and Brett to have in there, because I can tell you most of my wealth, whether through business or real estate investing, has been through owning my own rental properties for the last 25 years. And that's just an arm we want to be able to provide for you guys as well. So, well, we appreciate you guys joining us today. You got a feel of Palm Coast and Duplex. Brett, thanks for coming down, and
Absolutely.
I hope you guys find this video helpful in your pursuits for financial freedom.
Enjoy.
Take care.